Right, and it is purely for the viewer, isn't it? It's not for us. We make some choices and we hope you follow them. But I think what you were saying there, to pick up on what Mike said, is that there's been, I think, this is only my opinion, but in recent years, the entertainment industry's gone over there and telly's gone over there. And so the entertainment industry hasn't provided the people that have done the rounds and their apprenticeships to get out there where it hurts. And
there's no time, is there?
It's gone a little bit dried up.
I think probably television went down the wrong road when we got to the end of the great years of variety. I think that we saw lights and we saw feathers and we saw dancers, and we created such an expensive operation to put variety on the television. The last thing in the line was the actual talent of the person that was on. We surrounded them with a very expensive surroundings, and the last thing to have any consideration was the talent. What we're going to do is we'll put the talent and we'll forget all the surroundings. Feathers and lights will no longer excite you. Talent. That's what we're about, is talent. And I don't care if you're in the London Palladium or you're in your tin shed in Northamptonshire. It'll make no difference. If you're talented and you're funny, you're great.
It's Saturday night. It is launch night of Sound TV, February 26, 2005. And I'm here with Richard Digance and Jeffro, and me, Mike Osman. We are the three founders of Sound TV. And I think that what I would like to say, Jeff and Richard, is that I don't think we should be ashamed that we're providing entertainment for my mum and dad. You know, and I think in this country we do that, don't we? If you're old, it seems forget about them. And I think this is going to be a family channel. It's going to be something for everyone.
Oh yeah, I mean, it seems so far in this conversation, and this is really what this channel smacks of, is get in front of a camera and talk, because we ain't planned nothing to be here and chat in front of a camera. But we've only actually spoken about comedians and musicians. There are much wider ranges of entertainment. For instance, Jeffro's favourite show at the moment on our channel is a thing called The Art Doctor. Now, The Art Doctor is how to do watercolour painting, and you follow the guy. He doesn't just tell you what he's doing, he tells you how to do it. And that is very street cred painting, which is my hobby. And Keith Fenwick is a phenomenal artist, isn't he, Jeff? And it's just fascinating stuff.
I just love it. It's absolutely... Well, I put it on, you brought in a copy, and I put it on the club. And I said to the people working in the club, I said, come and watch that. And they couldn't leave it. Wonderful. I think we're missing something, though. What you haven't said, and you'll disagree with me for saying this, that most of television now is absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I'm sorry, boys, you wouldn't say it, but it is rubbish. You look back to last Christmas, you had 500 channels on Sky, and you had all you remember one good show you saw last Christmas. You just think, well, what did I see last Christmas that I really enjoyed? Not a chance. There was nothing. It's rubbish.
Apart from the Queen.
Well, the Queen, but she's always brilliant. But, I mean, I look at hundreds of channels, there's nothing I want to see. And I think television is made cheaply, and I think it's rubbish. And I'm trying to change that. Sorry, boys, but I think what we've got to watch is rubbish.
You said you weren't going to say it, and that's great. I think
that and you have.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
But it's also great, Mike, I think, how the guys have joined forces. Chris Tarrant has come on board with us, and people like Tommy Walsh, and Brian Conley's been a diamond, hasn't he?
Oh,
I mean, we haven't been able to keep him off camera, and he's,
no.
And he's the cheapest act we've had.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. I want to see Brian in the lakeside at Christmas. Phenomenal. Phenomenal, Brian was. Well, Christmas show, absolutely phenomenal.
Well, wish him well, and chitty chitty bang bang, Brian Connolly. One of the acts you will see on Sound TV. Richard, you touched briefly on some of the other programmes. What will the audience be able to look forward to on Sound TV?
I think the first thing is the mix, and I think Jeff was touching on it there. The mix is anybody. And I just get the impression that in recent years there hasn't been a significant mix of entertainment. Whatever entertainment is, you can sail a yacht and it's entertaining, but whatever it is, the mix has gone a little bit down an alley, you know, and if you didn't fit, for instance, in comedy, if you didn't fit in comedy with the present programme planners or schedulers or whatever, you didn't get on. I happen to be one such person, and you can say, well, Digance is saying it's sour grapes, and I don't really care what people think. the fact is that I haven't played my guitar on television, despite BAFTA nominations and awards and British Academy Awards, for 11 years. It's not because I'm any worse or better or whatever, it's just I didn't fit. I don't have a problem with that, but maybe there's lots of other people who never fitted. And that's why I say there's been this wide thing, because I've still toured.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't sell the tickets Jeff sells, but I still do well. And yet those people will never see me on TV. And therefore it must have happened. There must have been a gap sort of taken place. And certainly you speak to jazz about music, and it's exactly the same with music, because, yeah, there's your chart shows, but in the old days of the old Grey Whistle Test, where a good rock band could get on and show their stuff, and they'd do it with bare wires showing and old dirty old amps, you know, and it was street cred music. And it was a very vital part of that music scene.
But you talk about music in terms of, you know, I'm ex-Capital Gold, and I worked at Capital Gold for six and a half years, as you did work at Capital Radio. Now, Capital Gold caters 60s, 70s and 80s for a specific market. Television just sort of swept aside one particular market and went down another route and just left that audience aside, really, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've found brilliant people. I'm talking musically. Jules Holland is, for me, a genius, and his programme has always been great, going back to the Tube and things like that. Great programmes. The Whistle Test was a magnificent programme. I used to love it to death. But nowadays, because pop music took a slant as well, it became more manufactured, more dance routines, more boy bands, etc. And the singer-songwriters got a little bit left behind. So what have we got tonight at midnight? We got a singer-songwriter, a guy that's never been on telly, Johnny Dickinson. Few of you would have heard of him. He comes from Newcastle, and by the time you've seen him tonight, you would have heard of him, because he's a very, very good singer-songwriter. But you wouldn't see him on Top of the Pops. Well, hopefully you would if he has a hit record, but yeah, at this present time, you wouldn't. And every Sunday, our musical policy is to bring someone to you that maybe you've never even heard of, let alone seen, but it doesn't mean they're bad if you haven't heard of them. It means they've never had the break. And I think if we can do that for someone, I mean, we found a guy, Tony King, a busker, from St Ives in Cornwall.
Playing on the streets of Truro.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Well, is he a genius or what?
A genius, absolute genius.
I mean, I've got this great idea of him. I was talking to Tony, he did so well in the variety show. I thought, well, busking, you know, you got an idea about Busk of the Year and all this. I think he should busk from John O'Groats to Land's End, and we'll follow him. And we'll raise money and we'll put it to our Hope Hospice for one of Tommy Walsh's projects, things like that.
It makes you wonder, was somebody with so much talent on the streets of Truro? It can't be right, it just can't be right. It just oozes, and he's so original. Some of his comedy was just breathtaking, wasn't it?
And a beautiful singer-songwriter.
Oh, a beautiful singer-songwriter.
So what do you two think of the comedians we found, Tucker and...
Well, like I said...
I think, you know, we have been privileged to see these young kids, really. We really have. And there's just, it seems like an endless supply of them out there who've just been busily working away at their careers without the aid of television. Now, television is so important, Jeff. I mean, you've toured in the last 10 years to over 2 million people.
Yeah.
All by doing Des O'Connor, really?
Yeah. I've only done 11 televisions in my life.
See, I find that unbelievable.
In my life.
11?
In my life, yeah. I'm
9 good ones.
No, I never did a good one. But no, I mean, if people see you and they say, well, I like this fella, he make me laugh, well, I still love to laugh with people. I don't feel myself as an entertainer. I go to laugh with them, and I do laugh. I'm perhaps a purveyor of the mirth, but every night I laugh with the people. I don't actually make them laugh. I'm there for my own. I'm part of the audience as well. I just go along with them. But if you watch this program, and there's a comic called Tank Sherman from Exeter, he'll be on there. Just watch that man for a quality entertainer. 2 old boys from Swindon, Dave and Amos. You sit in and watch them, and if you're not entertained, I should be very, very surprised.
And I have to say, Jeff, David Amos would never, ever get a chance in television. Yet they're worthy of it, no question.
Probably my favourite act in the land.
Yeah.
But they're comedians.
Yes.
But they're not maybe TV producers type comedians, and so we haven't seen them.
No.